What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. Once more around the sun, maybe twice more around the sun weeks. Time is hard. It's time for another episode of the Forgotten Race Review. But today, Mr. Devin McTrusty requests we crack open Samurai Sheepdogs, the Book of Many Things. Today, we're talking all about the Dalit. If you're liking what you're seeing, like, subscribe, ding the bell. If you have any requests, they go down there. Patronage makes them go to the top of the line. And today, this episode of the Forgotten Race Review is brought to you in part by Lord Minot, who hasn't died in Carrying Crown yet. I'm pretty impressed, not gonna lie. Thank you for your support, my friend. Now, let's hit it. So as I dive in, I can definitely tell, and I know I say this all the time, but this is a very well-loved, well put together third-party book. And truly, the race we're about to talk about today, this super ugly thing right here has redefined for me what a non-core race ought to look like. This race is an offshoot or cousin, in a weird roundabout way of saying it, to the Otyugh. Unlike their horrible, terrible kin, these guys prefer to live quietly, surviving on whatever garbage and corpses they can scavenge. So it's like a goblin, except probably a little scarier looking. As you might imagine, a long time ago, this race sold itself out as street sweepers and cleaners. They are rarely seen, even less likely to be interacted with by most people, beyond those looking for information related to the area or people around. Because if you want to eat trash and a civilization will pay you lots of money to eat its trash, yeah, seems good to me. The Dalit, or as the race calls itself, the Blorp, I feel like that ought to have been the other way. I feel like we ignorant humanoids would call them Blorps, looking at this guy. Anywho, resembles a cross between an Otyugh and a toad. They're a squat, slimy, somewhat amorphous creature with 4 beady eyes placed over a round protrusion that acts both as nose and mouth. Because of their natural shape, the Dalit find it difficult to wear armor even when it's sized for them. Dalit society is a matriarchy where the queen of the hive births little Dalits until she dies and is consumed by the next queen. The males and non-queen females act as drones who leave their home in search of refuse to consume and turn into energy for the rest of their people upon return. In any case, a Dalit reaches age of adulthood at 6 years old. Wow! We're learning how kindergarten works. These guys are ready to kill kobolds. I love it. Their height and weight is universal between male and females, ranging anywhere from 3 foot to 3'10", weighing anywhere from 62 to 72 pounds. The Book of Many Things tells us that these guys live for 80 plus years. I'll say 80 plus 1d20 years. Now, let's look at what's probably the most interesting ancestry I've ever seen in my whole life. The Dalit receives a +2 to Constitution and Intelligence. Yeah, that's a rare one. But a -2 to Charisma, seeing that these guys are tough and smarter than the average bear, but since they look like trash monsters, people tend to hate them. Dalits are small aberrations with dark vision 60 feet and a base speed of 20 feet, which is not modified by armor or encumbrance. Which is pretty neat, because a Dalit has a natural armor bonus equal to 2 plus its con mod. I know, right? Because they are unable to wear manufactured armor of any kind. It is believed that some Dalits have learned to enchant their hides in the same way a wizard might enchant a breastplate, but it gets better. As a standard action, a Dalit can fill itself with air for a number of minutes each day, equal to its con mod. Doing so increases the Dalit's size to medium. This change in size is identical to enlarged person, except it does not modify the Dalit's ability scores or weight. It also increases the natural reach of the Dalit's tentacles to 10 feet. Oh yeah, by the way, got those. In any case, this effect's duration does not need to be consecutive. It's spent in minute increments. Reverse compression? Yeah, alright, sure, why not? Gotta blow up real big to get scary. Last but not least, a Dalit that begins its turn with a smaller opponent pinned can attempt a grapple combat maneuver check. If it succeeds, the Dalit swallows its prey. Yum, 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 yum. A swallowed creature can try to cut its way free. The amount of damage required to cut out of the Dalit's tum-tum is equal to 1/10 of its total hit points. It can also still try to escape the grapple to climb on out. The armor class of a Dalit's tummy is 10 plus half its natural armor bonus with no modifiers for size or dexterity. Of course, if you cut out of the Dalet, the wound automatically closes. If you CMB out, you go from being inside the tum-tum to the jaws of the Dalet, where it can be consumed again. So that's a bit of a weird one. You would expect some kind of like acid damage, right? Once you eat a thing. If nothing else, close your mouth, they will certainly begin to suffocate. But yeah, but really there's just a lot of things you can do with this race, assuming this race doesn't get like ghost busted on sight, that you can't do with a lot of other races. Sure, it's always great to have a big fat constitution score. This race gives you benefit for having done so. Any marshal would love to be a Dalet, especially considering you can get reach. Something like a Dalet Barbarian or Kineticist, or perhaps a multi-class of both, doesn't look bad at all. Or even just the Dalet Wizard, who probably padded his constitution more than you did because his hit dice is lower, now also has the highest AC in the party. That's a new one, I'll say that. Dalets also make perfect companions, perfect NPCs for games that take place in the realm of spooky eldritch horror. Because maybe then you're a little less likely to be attacked by a party who can determine the difference between a good eldritch horror and a bad eldritch horror. Or, I guess, in either case, you could just reflavor yourself as some kind of scary swamp alligator frog. Yeah, that seems good. In any case, that's all I have to say about this weird trash thing. What do you guys think about this guy? Have we played any of the samurai sheepdog races? Because they all look really sweet and spooky. Would we play this? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. We'll keep on moving. Anyway, one more week for sure on this request line before we get on to covering some ancestries with the release of Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Next week it's an Aasimar bloodline, specifically the Muse Touched. I'll see you then.